I must begin with a confession. There is a door within the human mind, a door invisible to the eye, yet more real than stone or iron. Few ever reach it, but those who do discover the greatest treasure of life. That door is the sixth sense, the temple of wisdom, through which infinite intelligence whispers to man. And let me tell you, once you stand before this door, once you dare to enter, life will never again be ordinary. I did not stumble upon this truth by accident. For years I struggled, searching for a way to bridge the gap between the finite mind of man and the infinite mind of the universe. And it was only when I mastered the 12 principles before it — desire, faith, autosuggestion, specialized knowledge, imagination, organized planning, decision, persistence, the mastermind, the subconscious mind, the brain, and the mystery of sex, transmutation — that I became worthy to approach the 13th principle, the sixth sense. Now, you may wonder, why is this principle hidden from most men and women? The answer is simple. The sixth sense cannot be explained to one who has not walked the path of discipline, who has not trained the mind through the earlier laws of success. To the unprepared, it is like describing color to the blind or music to the deaf. But to the mind that has been developed, it comes as a revelation. Pause and ask yourself, have you ever felt a sudden hunch? A flash of inspiration that came without reason? A warning that saved you from danger? Or a whisper that pointed you toward an opportunity? That, my friend, is not mere coincidence. That is the sixth sense knocking at your door. And once you learn to open it, once you learn to trust it, that mysterious voice becomes your guardian angel, your private counselor, your unseen guide in moments of both triumph and despair. I remember clearly when I first realized the magnitude of this principle. For years before I wrote a line for publication, before I ever dared to speak in public, I sought to rebuild my character. I had been born into an environment of ignorance and superstition, but I refused to remain a prisoner of circumstance. I wanted to transform myself, and so I began an unusual practice. Every night before sleep, I would close my eyes and enter into a council, not with flesh and blood, but with the giants of history. I summoned them in my imagination, men whose greatness I revered. Emerson, Paine, Edison, Darwin, Lincoln, Burbank, Napoleon, Ford, and Carnegie. I seated them at my council table, and I, humble as I was, took the chair as leader. Does this sound strange? Perhaps. But remember this: all men become what they are because of their dominating thoughts and desires. And I chose to fill my mind with the thoughts of greatness. Mr. Emerson, I would say, give me your understanding of nature. Mr. Burbank, grant me your harmony with the laws of growth. Napoleon, share with me your indomitable faith and power to inspire men. Mr. Lincoln, teach me justice, patience, and tolerance. Night after night, I carried on this ritual. At first it was mere imagination, but as the weeks became months, something remarkable happened. These men of my council developed personalities of their own. They spoke with voices I had not written. They carried expressions I had not planned. Lincoln would walk solemnly, hands clasped behind his back, laying his hand on my shoulder with fatherly weight. Paine would jest with quick wit. Darwin would chuckle with calm patience. They became alive to me. And here is the hook you must not ignore. Those meetings, though imaginary, awakened within me powers I did not know I possessed. Can you imagine what it feels like to receive inspiration, as though it were delivered straight from the minds of history's greatest men? Can you picture sitting at a table where wisdom, courage, patience, persistence, and vision gather every night to instruct you? That is the miracle of the sixth sense. At first I feared it. The realism of the experience was uncanny. I even stopped the practice for a time, worried that I might lose touch with reality. But then came a night when Abraham Lincoln himself appeared at my bedside. He said, "The world will soon need your services. Complete your philosophy. That is your mission in life." Was it a dream? Was it imagination? Or was it infinite intelligence speaking through the medium of the sixth sense? I leave you to decide. But I know this: his words ignited a fire in me that no obstacle could extinguish. And so I returned to my council, renewed with courage. Over time, I expanded it to include more than 50 figures: Christ, St. Paul, Galileo, Plato, Socrates, Newton, Confucius, and many others. Each brought new perspectives, new flashes of wisdom that guided me through challenges no ordinary man could have solved alone. Now let me pause to speak directly to you. Do not dismiss this as fantasy. If you do, you may rob yourself of the greatest gift of life. The sixth sense is not bound by time, nor limited by human logic. It is the bridge between the conscious mind and the infinite. It is the channel through which inspiration flows, the silent force that warns you of danger and points you toward fortune. Think of the times you narrowly escaped harm, or when a brilliant idea struck you in the middle of the night. That was not accident. That was infinite intelligence whispering through your subconscious, through the faculty we call the sixth sense. The question is, will you learn to listen? This power is not gained in haste. It does not come to the impatient or the careless. It arrives after long discipline of mind, after meditation, self-examination, and the steady practice of the other principles. Few master it before the age of 40, many not until 50 or beyond. But when it comes with certainty, and it transforms a man into a vessel of wisdom. Consider Edison. When working on inventions for which no precedent existed, when no knowledge could guide him, he leaned on this invisible faculty. Consider Henry Ford, whose empire demanded more than human reason alone could provide. Consider Joan of Arc, who claimed to hear voices that led her to lead armies. Whether you call it inspiration, intuition, or divine guidance, it is all the same. The sixth sense at work. And here is the truth I want you to hold tightly. When the sixth sense awakens, life ceases to be a gamble. You are no longer tossed by chance, for you carry within you a compass more reliable than logic, more certain than reason, more powerful than knowledge. This is the gift that awaits you if you will pay the price. And the price is this: master your mind, govern your desires, discipline your imagination, cultivate persistence, surround yourself with a mastermind of harmony. Feed your subconscious with faith, vision, and purpose. Only then will you be worthy to open the door to the temple of wisdom. I speak not as a theorist, but as one who has lived it. I have felt the whisper that warns of danger. I have received the nudge that pointed me to opportunity. I have watched as infinite intelligence transmuted desires into reality through this mysterious medium. And I tell you, nothing else compares. So I ask you, as you listen to these words, what would your life look like if you, too, learned to trust the sixth sense? How many mistakes would you avoid? How many opportunities would you seize? How much more certain would your path become if guided by an unseen hand? The answer, my friend, lies in your willingness to prepare, to practice, and to believe. For the sixth sense is real, and it waits for you, just beyond the door of your own mind. I left you with a question. Do you trust your sixth sense? And perhaps, as you reflect, a quiet voice inside you whispers that you have heard it before, though faintly, in fleeting moments when you felt guided by something greater than yourself. If so, then know this: what you felt was not a trick of the mind, nor an accident of chance. It was the opening of the very door I call the Temple of Wisdom, a door that once opened can never again be fully closed. You see, the sixth sense is not a faculty you purchase, borrow, or stumble upon by luck. It is the culmination of all the other faculties working in harmony: your imagination, your reasoning, your faith, your persistence, your organized planning, your ability to control desire and transmute it into action. Each of these is like a brick, and the sixth sense is the temple built upon them. When the structure is complete, the temple stands, and the voice of wisdom begins to echo within. Let me tell you the truth as I have lived it. Every great decision that shaped my destiny was not made through logic alone. Logic was my servant, but the master was something higher, something invisible. It was the sixth sense that whispered, "Take this step, speak this word, avoid that trap." And each time I listened, I found that fortune smiled, opportunity opened, and dangers dissolved before they could strike. Now let me share with you a peculiar practice of mine, a practice that astonished many when I first revealed it. In the privacy of my study, I would often summon what I called my invisible counselors. Night after night, in the theater of my imagination, I would call forth men of history whose qualities I admired. Lincoln, Edison, Emerson, Napoleon, and others. I would seat them at a table and preside as chairman. Then, as if by magic, conversations would unfold. They would advise me, warn me, and inspire me. Skeptics may call this fantasy, but to me, the experience was more real than reality itself. And in those hours of communion, I received insights I could not have invented on my own. The sixth sense made the imaginary real, the invisible visible, and the impossible attainable. Here is the point. When you cultivate your sixth sense, you will never walk alone again. Even in silence, you will hear guidance. Even in solitude, you will feel the company of wisdom. And even in confusion, you will find clarity that no man could give you. But let me warn you, the sixth sense is not a toy. It is not to be abused for selfish gain, nor forced into action when unprepared. It reveals itself gradually as your character strengthens, as your mind becomes disciplined, as your intentions become pure. The man who seeks to use it merely to gamble, to deceive, or to exploit others will find nothing but shadows. But the one who approaches it with sincerity, with faith, with a burning desire to serve and to grow, he will find that the temple opens its gates willingly. Perhaps you are wondering, how shall I know when my sixth sense is awakened? You will know, because certainty will replace doubt, courage will silence fear, and decisions once difficult will become clear as day. You will feel a hand upon your shoulder when no one stands behind you. You will sense danger before it arrives, and opportunity before it knocks. You will feel guided, as if by an unseen compass pointing always toward your true north. My friend, if you truly desire to cultivate this sense, begin with faith. Faith is the soil in which the seed of the sixth sense grows. Fill your mind with the thought that you are connected to infinite intelligence, that your brain is not merely a machine of flesh, but a broadcasting and receiving station, tuned to higher vibrations. Guard what you feed it. Refuse to harbor fear, envy, hatred, or doubt, for these are poisons that corrode the delicate instrument within you. Instead, feed it with gratitude, persistence, vision, and love. Every night before you sleep, give your subconscious a command. Tell it what you seek, and then let go. In your dreams, in your sudden flashes of inspiration, in the quiet moments when your mind is still, the sixth sense will begin to speak. And as you listen, the voice will grow stronger. Let me be plain. The world owes its progress to those who have listened to this voice. The great inventors who brought light to darkness, the leaders who preserved nations in crisis, the artists who gave form to beauty, all of them were guided by the unseen hand of the sixth sense. It is the link between man and the infinite, the bridge between the known and the unknown. But here is the greatest secret of all. The sixth sense is not given merely to enrich your pocketbook or to elevate your name. Its highest purpose is to protect you and to guide you toward your true mission in life. Many men have gathered wealth only to lose peace, health, and joy. But the man who listens to his sixth sense gathers not only riches but wisdom, not only success but serenity. For this voice does not flatter, it directs. It does not tempt, it guards. It does not lead you astray, it leads you home. Imagine, if you will, living each day with this guidance. Imagine walking into opportunities while others stumble in confusion. Imagine avoiding dangers while others fall into traps. Imagine hearing the answer before the question is even asked. That is the life made possible by the awakening of the sixth sense. And so I say to you, prepare yourself. Purify your mind. Strengthen your faith. Discipline your thoughts. Do this, and the day will come when you will hear the voice that never lies, the voice that never sleeps, the voice that speaks from the temple of wisdom itself. And when you do, you will know that a new chapter of life has begun. When the sixth sense awakens, life itself takes on a new dimension. Decisions that once drained you with uncertainty now come with clarity, as if written in letters of fire upon your mind. Paths that once seemed blocked reveal hidden doors, and challenges that once frightened you appear instead as stepping stones toward greatness. The voice of the Temple of Wisdom does not shout, but when you learn to listen, its whisper carries more authority than the loudest clamor of the world. But let me remind you, this awakening is not the end of your journey. It is the beginning. The sixth sense does not deliver a finished destiny into your hands. It equips you to shape your destiny with mastery. You will still meet trials, obstacles, and storms, but now you will carry within you a compass that never falters and a lamp that never extinguishes. I recall the countless men I studied, giants of industry, leaders of nations, pioneers of science. They were not free from struggle. Indeed, their struggles were often greater than those of ordinary men. Yet what set them apart was this: when doubt consumed others, they acted with certainty. When fear paralyzed the crowd, they moved forward with courage. They trusted that unseen counsel, that higher guidance. And history records their triumphs because they were guided by something more than logic. They were guided by wisdom itself. You must understand, the sixth sense is not confined to the chosen few. It is not a gift of birth nor a privilege of the elite. It lies dormant within every human being, waiting only for cultivation. The difference between the ordinary and the extraordinary is simply that the extraordinary have listened where others ignored, have believed where others doubted, have acted where others hesitated. Think of the countless moments in your life when you stood at a crossroads. Perhaps you agonized over which direction to choose. Perhaps you sought advice, weighed evidence, and still felt lost. But then, without warning, a quiet certainty filled you. You knew what to do. That moment was not an accident. It was the sixth sense knocking at the door. Each time you obey it, the voice grows stronger. Each time you ignore it, the voice grows faint. My counsel to you is this: trust the whisper, act upon it, and with practice, that whisper will become a steady voice, a trusted companion, and ultimately, a force that reshapes the entire pattern of your life. Yet let me issue one more caution. The sixth sense will not eliminate the need for effort. Do not imagine you may sit idle, waiting for wisdom to fall upon you like rain. Wisdom comes to the one who digs, who seeks, who labors. The sixth sense rewards the disciplined, not the lazy, the faithful, not the skeptical, the doer, not the dreamer who refuses to act. It is in the furnace of persistence, in the practice of faith, in the steady pursuit of your definite chief aim, that the sixth sense reveals its fullest power. I tell you from my own life, many times I stumbled, many times I erred. I was not immune to failure, but through each failure I discovered that the sixth sense never abandoned me. Even in the darkest hours when every outward sign said, "Give up," the inner voice whispered, "Stand firm. The dawn is near." And each time I obeyed, I lived to see the dawn. Perhaps you are listening now, wondering if you too can possess such guidance. Let me say with all the conviction in my soul, you already do. The seed is in you. The question is not whether you have it, but whether you will nourish it. Will you train your mind, discipline your habits, and align your purpose so that this seed may grow into a mighty tree? Or will you neglect it, leaving it buried in the soil of doubt until your life ends with its potential unrealized? This choice is yours. And the beauty of it is this: the moment you decide, the moment you commit, the very instant you say, "I will listen, I will trust, I will act," the temple begins to open. The sixth sense responds not to hesitation, but to decision. As I near the end of this message to you, I want you to remember one truth above all. The sixth sense is the crown of all achievement. It is the final step in the ladder of personal mastery. Without it, you may achieve wealth but lose peace. You may gain power but lose direction. You may possess knowledge but lack wisdom. But with it, all things come into balance. You gain not only material success, but also harmony, guidance, and the joy of knowing you are aligned with the infinite. And so I ask you, will you awaken it? Will you listen tonight when the world is silent and your thoughts are still? Will you hear that quiet voice and trust that it is the door to the temple? If you do, your life will never again be ordinary. You will walk in the company of wisdom, guarded by unseen hands, guided by eternal light. Let this be the moment you decide. Let this be the night you step across the threshold. And when you do, May you not only discover riches, but discover yourself, the highest, noblest, most powerful version of who you were always meant to be. Because this is the true gift of the sixth sense. It reveals to you not only the path ahead, but the greatness within. And if tonight you have felt the stirrings of that greatness, then stay with me. For what lies beyond this lesson is even deeper, even richer, and even more powerful. There are truths yet to be revealed, secrets yet to be unlocked. And I promise you, if this voice has awakened your hunger, then the next message will feed your soul.